Hi, this is Avery Parker, Diversified Tech Solutions, and I'm bringing you another little tip, kind of fact today. Today we're going to talk about how Google works. We're going to do it all in less than 5 minutes, so obviously we're not going to get into a huge amount of detail, but some people are really mystified as to how Google ranks websites for certain search phrases. We use it lots of times a day. We go and we look up something. Maybe we pull out our phone, we do a quick search, and maybe we search maps. Maybe we just search YouTube for videos. Maybe we just go to Google and search in general, and we get combination of maps and YouTube and websites. But we search a lot. And it might be useful to know, thinking about doing SEO for small business and local businesses, it's useful to know and understand how Google evaluates sites to come up. If you search for plumbers, Fort Myers, what is it that Google uses to try and figure out who they're going to show? And so we're going to talk about it just a little bit. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of factors that Google takes into account when they're evaluating a web page. And so don't think that I'm going to cover anywhere near everything. We're going to scratch this much of the surface. When they filed their original patent, basically what they were doing is they were looking at trust and authority. And you might want to think about it very similar to research papers. So let's say you've got a professor of economics, they're writing a research paper, and as they're doing their own research, they talk about other people who have done research in the past. They might cite Adam Smith and The Wealth of Nations. They might cite other economists of the past and their article on this, their article on that, their article on this, and so they're using that to substantiate what they're talking about. It also brings credibility to what they're talking about, and it also points other people to important readings, right? And so this is basically how links on the internet work and how Google started viewing it. If somebody is cited a lot, then they're probably an authority. And so Adam Smith probably cited in a lot of economics papers. And an authority in economics, right? He wrote the book that kind of had the start of the study of economics, for that matter. So on the internet, when you see a page that has lots and lots and lots of links coming into it, people are talking about it and pointing to it, it says that we ought to take a look, there's something going on here. Just like when there's breaking news and there's a story about somebody, and all of a sudden it goes viral and you got all sorts of links shared pointing to the same page. It gets a lot of traffic, and it's going to move up in the search results and be prominent in the search results for that bit of news. Now, it's possible, when they started, it was possible to game this pretty easily, and in fact, the text that's used to point to a site was something that was used to kind of game the search results. For years, if you went to Google and you typed in "click here," the very first page that would come up would be the Adobe Acrobat Reader download page. And I remember when I first saw this, I looked and the text "click here" was nowhere on the page. They had not optimized their page for "click here." But what had happened is everybody and anybody on the internet that had a PDF to view would say, oh, you can view our financial statement in this PDF, and you need Adobe Reader to view it. If you don't have it, click here to get it. And so the words "click here" pointed to that site. Now, they've changed things a little bit because that, as you might imagine, was easy for people to start gaming and figure out ways to do hundreds of thousands of links pointing to a specific page with specific text so they could shoot right to the top of the search results for that specific phrase. And so it's not quite what it was, but it's still very similar. They have taken some precautions against it all being exact match, and these days People that are doing link building talk about, having variety in your link text, that you don't want every single link to your site being one specific phrase. You want some variety there, because that's natural. That's the way the world would do. Somebody would say, this person's a great brain surgeon. Another person might say he's a fantastic neurosurgeon. People use slightly different terminology, and that's the way the world works. And so, in thinking about how this works for local business, let's say you're a plumber. It's very easy for anybody to put up a web page, and Google knows this. You can put up a web page saying you're a plumber, and somebody does a search for plumbers, and they kind of look at your site and they say, you know what, you say you're a plumber, but nobody else does. I'm not sure if we believe you. And so then you go and maybe you claim your Google My Business page, or you get listed in Foursquare or Yelp, or some local directories. And as you start doing that, the ability to trust you starts going up, because Google will say, well, we sent you a postcard to this address, and you're a plumber in San Diego. We see that you verified this, and we see over on Yelp you're saying that, and over on Merchant Circle you're saying that, and Manta, and here and there and there. And so the trust level starts to go up, because they see lots and lots of references to you being a plumber in San Diego. And so that makes some sense. You get listed in local directories, and so the confidence level goes up. This is what you're talking about on your page. This is what people talking about you are saying, and it kind of lines up and matches. In the offline world, if I had somebody walk up to me and offer me a recommendation for a brain surgeon, and all they talked about was used cars. We had a 20-minute conversation, and it was about this car they sold back in 1989, and it was just a fantastic thing, and he got a great deal on that thing. And I helped him to drive off 5 years later with this other great car, and blah 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 blah. And then, oh, by the way, if you need a good brain surgeon, you ought to check out Mike. He's a really good brain surgeon. Anyway, let me get back. The car that he drives, it's fantastic. He has the nice leather interior. Okay, well, that's interesting. It's a recommendation. But if I have somebody that's a known brain surgeon, sitting in his office with his certificates on the wall, and patients waiting for him out there in the big medical arts building, wherever we are, whatever town we are, and he says, you know what, I heard you need a recommendation for a good brain surgeon, and I will tell you the best neurosurgeon around is this person right here. Who do you think you would put more weight in their recommendation? The expert in the field, right? The person that is a brain surgeon, that he's got the credentials, he's got the patients here waiting. You can see that he's actually a brain surgeon doing what he does, and he has high regard for this one particular person. You're going to take his recommendation over John Doe, who's talking about used cars. And so if you think about it, in a lot of ways, that's exactly what Google does too. And so local directories are fantastic. They're great. Try and find industry-specific directories, websites, blogs. Try and establish your other media outlets, so that you start establishing yourself as an authority in the field that you specialize in. So if you're a plumber in San Diego, maybe start doing YouTube videos giving tips about how people might want to pick a plumber, or what kind of materials are best for people that that don't know whether they should use copper or PVC or PEX or whatever. You just want to try and give some things and establish yourself as an authority. Link back and forth with other people that are authorities in the field, and that raises the trust level dramatically when Google evaluates your site, because then they start taking a look and saying, you know what, he's networked with a lot of other plumbers and a lot of plumbing supply companies and a lot of other vendors, and this guy really does, he looks a lot like a plumber, and so I think we can believe what he's saying when he tells us on his site that he's a plumber. And so the bottom line is, the internet, just like in the offline world, it's references. It's about getting references from people that are in that field, and getting some good networking going. And so anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little tip. It's a little longer than I had thought, almost 10 minutes now. Sorry about that, but thanks for sticking with me until the end here. And if you would check out my website, diversifiedtechsolutions.com, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to try and offer more tips here and there. We do SEO services. We can help you sort out local search and trying to rank better for local search, increasing that presence and helping with that networking with other sites in your industry. And we really do enjoy helping to raise the media presence online for businesses to put them in a position where their clients, potential clients, are able to find them easily. So thanks very much. You can also give a call, 239 494 4633. Thanks.